The learning outcomes of entrepreneur and enterprise. You want to be able to identify different types of financial, cultural, social enterprises and appreciate the role each plays in society. You want to be able to describe the skills and characteristics of being enterprising and appreciate the role of an entrepreneur in an organisation and in society and to the economy. Investigate the positive and negative impacts on a community of an organisation from an economic and social environmental perspective. What is an entrepreneur? An entrepreneur is it's the person who takes on the personal and financial risks to set up a business with the hope to make a profit. And the key words to mention there is take on the risk with the hope to make a profit. Identifying a business opportunity. The idea for a business could begin in a number of ways. An entrepreneur might have an idea for a completely new product or service. They might identify products or services that is not currently available in this area. You can get them abroad, but you can't get them here. Identify a product or service that could be offered at a lower price. So the first one is have an idea for a completely new product or service. So a completely new idea. That's what Anne-Marie and Shasta had when she came up with the sterilising soother. But equally, people can go away on holidays or with their hobbies and know that you can't get stuff in certain areas, so they can bring it to an area. That's the second way. And again, to repeat, the third way is you might be able to feel you can produce it for a lower price. The characteristics and skills of an entrepreneur. A characteristic, they're going to be creative. Like think of Anne-Marie, she was very creative in trying to come across with the product and get it small, compacted, really attractive looking product that she had for the stereo up and for the stereo over for sterilising the bottles. Very hard working. There was no doubt that Anne-Marie was extremely hard working. She was a risk taker. She was she was rearing children and willing to take on this big risk of investing in her own company. Ambitious. They take initiative up and take their initiatives. They're resourceful, very resourceful and determined. But the skills then, you have to be good at planning. And we could see in the Fire Festival that Billy McFarrell wasn't good at planning. Also very good at time management. Again, something that Billy wasn't good at and Anne-Marie was good at. Budgeting. Again, that's why I showed you the two examples. Anne-Marie was really watching her finances, really watching the budget, had a plan, needed to get these finances. And where we could see with the Fire Festival, he wasn't budgeting for anything. He was borrowing off Peter to pay Paul. You need to have market knowledge. You need to have problem solving, be a problem solver. And you need to have people skills. Very important that you know how to manage people. And these are 6 important skills of an entrepreneur. And you can see it. The role of an entrepreneur in an organisation. An entrepreneur is central to the success of their organisation in a number of ways. The entrepreneur is often the driving force of an organisation, and their energy and passion will motivate others. This increase in motivation will improve productivity and profits. Always about profits for business, and that's what they're about. And their productivity means getting stuff done efficiently. High levels of motivation will reduce absenteeism and labour turnover. That's people leaving the job and going and working somewhere else, which is very costly for an organisation. An entrepreneur introduces new ideas and ways of working that keeps the business competitive and moving forward. And you could definitely see that with Shasta. She had the pre-sterilised soother, and she was moving forward with this sterilised stereo over that you put your soother in, and then the sterilising bottle maker. The role of an entrepreneur in the Irish economy. Entrepreneurs play a very important role in the Irish economy by creating new goods and services. We've seen that was with both Shasta and Fire Festival. They were creating a new good and service. Providing employment. Enterprise Ireland supported companies now employ over 215,000 people. Paying taxes, which contribute to the national income. Supporting related business. If an entrepreneur creates a new product, they may ask a design company to create the packaging, so they create businesses work for other businesses, and raising Ireland's profile in the global economy. The role of an entrepreneur in society. The activities of an entrepreneur can offer a number of benefits to a society. The standard of living increases in an area where they establish businesses and employment and increase wages and circulation for that business and local business. People who are earning more will spend more in their socialising and dining out, and it just brings more income into that area. Taxes paid by the entrepreneur to the government are spent on improving services to society. Entrepreneurs are a driving force behind new goods and services which can benefit society as a whole. They bring us new goods, new services, make our lives easier. We mentioned that, like how with the Shasta, the stereo over is going to make mammy's lives easier, but equally over the years, microwaves, air fryers, all these things have been brought in the market, make life much more easy and efficient. Entrepreneurs work to improve society by donating to charitable causes. They get tax discounts for doing this and they donate to charities. But if there's a need, people shouldn't have to rely on charities. Government should provide all services. I just would put that there. If there's something needed in society, taxes should pay for it. Entrepreneurs often have the financial resources and influence to tackle global issues faced by a society. But again, this should be led by government and people as a whole. Types of enterprise. Enterprise is the ability of a person to come up with an idea, identify an opportunity, and take risks to turn that idea into a business. Enterprise can be divided into financial, cultural enterprise, and social enterprise. The financial enterprise, and just think of it, it can sometimes be called commercial enterprise as well. Most businesses are set up for the purpose of financial gain, such as shops, restaurants, and technology company. Anything that's set up with the aim of making a profit is a financial or commercial enterprise. Financial enterprise contributes to society in the following way: creates employment, again, provides goods and services to customers and businesses, contributes to economic growth by employing people and who spend money elsewhere, and generates taxes that can be used to benefit society. So you can see that question can be asked in two ways. It's the same. How do entrepreneurs and enterprise benefit society? And it's thinking of it all the time: employment, goods and services, more money in the economy, and it generates taxes for services. Them four things. Cultural enterprise. These are businesses set up to promote arts and culture, such as art galleries and music centres. Science Galleries, Dublin Gallery, Art Festival and Contemporary Music Centre. Cultural enterprise contributes to society in the following ways: it gives people access to arts and culture, and it creates employment, and it brings revenue into the country via tourism. Social enterprise. Some businesses are set up with the sole aim of solving problems that affect society, such as homelessness, poverty, or environmental concerns. Green Plan, which seeks to tackle climate change, is set up to tackle the climate crisis. Social enterprises are not charities, as they do not depend on donations like any other business. Their income comes from selling goods or services. The difference is that any surplus extra income is reinvested in their social goal rather than being kept as a profit. A person who starts a business with a social goal is called a social entrepreneur. Social enterprise. The value to society of a social enterprise is that it raises awareness of social issues, it brings about social change, and it provides much needed services that are not currently offered by the government or for-profit businesses. But as I said, government should be funding these stuff from the taxes motivated by people and workers, and they create employment. Enterprise and the community. Organisations impact the communities in which they operate positively or negatively. This impact can be economic, social, or environmental. So, economic, these are the positives of enterprise. They create employment, spin-off effect for local areas and other businesses, people spending their money that they've earned from their wages, or that company hiring other businesses in the area to carry out marketing, design, and delivery. So spin-off. Increase in taxes paid to local authority. So it brings around more services in the area and more money for the local authority, the local county council. Negative. Prices may increase as people have more disposable income. This is like inflation. More people have more money than it can drive prices up. Large organisations may negatively impact smaller independent business who may find it difficult to compete, and you may lose really small local authentic businesses to big multinationals that aren't as local and as friendly and don't build up a local community sort of environment. It can feel very sterile of everything, like the coffee shops at the moment, all Starbucks as opposed to having small local coffee companies. They can get squeezed out. Positives of social enterprise. They raise the standard of living. They improvement to local amenities and services as more money is available. Less emigration and migration from local community. Organisation may sponsor community events, football clubs, and a reduction in social problems such as substance abuse and crime, as this Substance abuse and crime is often followed by poverty, but if there's more jobs, higher standard of living, and more things for people to do, then you see less problems when people have real opportunity. Negative from the enterprise from a social point of view. Young locals may be unable to stay in the area as house prices rise because this area, because it's high employment, and you can see this a lot in areas around Dublin. Very hard. People are getting pushed out of O'Devany Gardens. They got knocked down and are getting sold to private developers because the inner city and all that, and in town, all the businesses, it's a much higher cost of living. As new businesses such as cafes enter the area to cater to employees, the area may lose its original character. Environmental. Organisations may have positive environmental initiatives. Example, Intel have restored and created biodiverse habitats in and around their campus. However, the negativity, a possible increase in pollution if you're having more production, and we can see this with the data centres as well. In all around Ireland, a lot of energy being used. Traffic congestion, danger to natural habitats by building on them, increased burden on local waste management, and there's actually an increased burden on energy supply this year as well with all the businesses. There's a shortage of energy supply in Ireland. Forms of business ownership. There are a number of ways of setting up a business and running a business. You have a choice of a sole trader, private limited company, public limited company, franchise and cooperative. A sole trader business is owned and run by the individual. The sole trader may sell goods, example, newsagent, a butcher, shop or farm, or may provide a service like a gardener, an accountant or a beautician. A sole trader is their own boss, is a huge advantage. They have the freedom to make all the business decisions, and they keep all the profits, and it's quite simple to set up. Features of a sole trader. A sole trader business is the most straightforward type of business to set up. However, sole traders do not need to get a license if they want to sell certain goods, or will need to get a license. For example, alcohol or offer certain services. Example, taxi drivers. A sole trader must provide all the money needed to start up the business. This is called capital. A sole trader is held personally responsible for the business. This is called unlimited liability. Really important to know this. Unlimited liability means that a business owner's personal property may be seized to pay the debts of the business. So if you run a massive debt and your business is failing, you could actually lose your house. Your debt is not limited to what you put in. It's unlimited. All your debts must be paid. A private limited company is a business that is owned between 1 and 149 shareholders. This is the most common type of business in Ireland. So you've 1 to 149 shareholders. A private limited company only pays 12.5% corporation tax, and that's why it's such a popular form. Features of it. Each owner of a private limited company is called a shareholder because they all own 1 or more shares in the company. The more shares a shareholder owns, the larger the shares will be of any profits in the business. Each shareholder's share of the profit is called dividend. The capital required to set up a private limited company can be raised by selling shares to shareholders, so it's quite easy to raise finances, much easier than if you were a sole trader. And this is a real big advantage. Shareholders in private limited companies enjoy the protection of a limited liability, which means that the shareholders are not personally responsible for the business debts and can only lose the amount that they have invested. They have a separate legal identity to the business. Limited liability, you can only lose what you invest. All private limited companies must be registered with the CRO, Companies Register Office. The CRO will then issue the company with a certificate of incorporation, which allows the company to begin trading. And it's like the birth cert of a company. This gives them the separate legal identity. A public limited company, a PLC, is a business whose shares can be traded on the stock exchange and bought and sold by members of the general public. A PLC must have at least 7 shareholders. A PLC must have the letters PLC after its name. Example, Glanbia PLC and Metrodonic PLC. Glanbia does all the yogurts. All PLC must be registered with the companies of registrar, and a PLC can raise large amounts of money by selling the shares. Features of a franchise. A franchise is a license agreement that allows a person to sell existing business goods or services in a particular location in return for a percentage of the profits. The business granting the license is called the franchisor. The person setting up the outlet is called the franchisee. Many well-known businesses are franchised, including fast food restaurants, convenience stores, gyms, Eddie Rocket, Centra, Anytime Fitness. Setting up a franchise is less risky than starting a new company, as the business is already well known and proven to work. However, the franchise is restricted by the establishment business model. Franchisors provide support such as marketing and staff training, which saves the franchisee money. However, a percentage of the profit is given to the franchisor. A cooperative is a business that is owned by its members, a group of people that own the cooperative, and it is run